Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back. To those of y'all that are just now tuning in to my YouTube channel, I just want to introduce myself again. My name is Katrina, Coach Trina, Sexual and Wellness Coach. I also like to coach folks on how to maintain their hypersexual self. Okay? And in my last 4 videos, I have talked about going from sexual addiction to sexual freedom, talked a little bit about my story. Then I talked about how triggers isn't the real issue. Okay. And then I talked about how you can rewire your brain's reward system. Just rewire everything into positivity things and giving your brain what it actually needs, the healthier thing that it needs, okay? And the last one was breaking free from shame, identifying things and breaking free from it, not letting it hold you down, not letting it keep you from living life, helping you to be free from it, okay? Have no shame in telling your story. Have no shame in what you have been through because you're healing from it. Okay, so this right here, gonna roll right into this next one where we're going to face the root causes of sexual addiction. Okay, are y'all ready for this? It's gonna be a great one. Okay, so we're going to go deeper than behavior because sexual addiction is not just about what you do, it's about why you do it. Okay, the root causes. And if we don't deal with the root causes, we'll spend our whole entire lives trimming at the branches. Okay, so you gotta get down to the root and the nitty gritty. We done sweeping things up under the rug because all that do is compile dirt, right? And at some point you're gonna have to clean it. You're gonna have to dust it all off. So let's get on down to the roots. All right, why roots matter. Imagine a weed in your garden. You could cut it down every day, but if the root is still in the soil, it will continue to grow back. That's exactly how addiction works, y'all. If you don't deal with it, it's going to continue to grow back. You can swear off behavior, delete apps, make promises, but if you don't deal with what's underneath, the cycle going to continue to repeat itself. You're just going to keep going and going and going and going. Okay? So the roots can look like this: trauma, abandonment, rejection, neglect, abuse, shame, stress, loneliness, or just not knowing how to handle life's pressure. It just keeps you going in your same cycle. You just keep trimming at those branches. Just keep trimming at those branches. Okay? The addiction isn't random. It's a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism to deal with that trauma, to deal with that neglect. Okay? It's how you learn to survive when you didn't know any other way. Yeah, I didn't know any other way. I was abused as a young child up until I was like 10, 11 years old when I finally told. And how I dealt with it was I gave myself up. I gave myself away. I gave up on myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't care for myself. No one else did. At least I didn't feel like no one did. I felt like everyone just threw me away. I cried, reached out for help. I couldn't get it. So what? I felt like the streets showed me love. So that's where I went to. That was my coping mechanism. Okay? And that rolls right into the survival strategy. Okay? I want you to hear me clearly. Come on in and listen closely. You are not broken. You were coping with the sexual addiction as a way to soothe the pain. Okay? Numb, fear, or escape reality. For me, it was both. It was both. I'm not going to lie. I was always scared and afraid of being raped. The way I was living my life out there, I thank God I wasn't. But if you look at it, I pretty much was giving myself up because of that fear. And then also just having sex just because it felt good or it just was a coping mechanism. And I was escaping reality. I was escaping what had happened to me. Okay? But here's the thing. Survival isn't the same as living. You deserve to live free, not just survive. I deserve to live free. I'm done being in survival mode. It didn't work. It got me nowhere but deeper. Okay? So instead of asking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with us? Let's start asking, what happened to me? What happened? What am I trying to escape from? What am I longing for that I'm not receiving in a healthy way? Those questions lead up to the roots. Ask yourself that. I know what happened to me. I know I was escaping my reality of what happened to me. And I was longing for acceptance, for love, for someone to just believe me and take me in. I was looking for it from family. But I went and found it in the streets. What other way could I deal with it? I ain't know no other way. Okay, yes, I went to therapy. I won't in that mind space. I was always bumping heads with my mother. So I was a runaway. I won't never home. I was a runaway. I didn't take kindly to authorities. I was a rebellious person. And that's because I was hurt. I was hurt and didn't know how to channel it. Didn't know what to do or how to deal with it. So ask yourself those questions for your root causes, okay? So I want to give you some reflection exercises, okay? Now keep in mind, when doing these exercises, be gentle with yourself, all right? You ain't got to rush. There's no rush at all. You're not writing this to judge yourself, it's to understand yourself, okay? Because awareness is the seed of healing. Can I say that again? Awareness is the seed of healing. Okay? Y'all got y'all pen and paper? I want y'all to write this down. Okay? Number 1. When did I first notice my sexual behaviors felt out of control? For me, I was about 12, 13 years old when mine got out of control. I didn't care. I didn't give a damn. Number 2, what feelings usually show up before I act out? Boredom, stress, loneliness, rejection. Me, most times it was rejection. Not feeling loved at home, always arguing with my mom. I just end up leaving the house. That's stress, boredom, just to be out there doing something. Escaping my reality. Number 3, what parts of my story still hurts when I think about them? Okay, there are parts of my story that still hurts when I think about it. But that's the whole purpose of me being able to talk about it, to be able to heal from it. Because let me tell you something. Sexual addiction, y'all, is a real thing. When a person tell you that they're a sex addict, believe them. Believe them. Instead of criticizing and judging, help them in some way. Have a conversation with them. Figure out why they are the way they are. Don't just jump to conclusions, because that's how we are as humans are. We jump to conclusions. Sit down and understand them into the reason why they do the things that they do. Okay? Once you see the roots, what do? You heal them. You start healing those roots. Healing doesn't mean pretending the pain never happened, because it happened. I pretended for a long time that it didn't happen. I ain't talk about it for a long. I was ashamed. I was worried about what people would say, what family would say. It took me a long time to be able to feel free to talk about my story, talk about me being molested. It even took a longer time for me to talk about my addiction, about how I was out there like that. Because people tend to take that and laugh about it, run with it, think it's a joke, and it's a real drug. It's a real thing. It really is. You have people out there that's dealing with that, and I know there is. Okay? Healing means learning healthier ways to deal with life. Have to find a healthier way to deal with it, instead of going out there just giving it up randomly to random people. And even not even random people. I was at one point random people, then I was like going back to those that I know. And that was just to escape reality. That was, just crazy. When things hit me, I ran. That's all I knew to do. Okay? But I did go to therapy. Because at one point in my life, I knew it got out of control. And I sought help. They let me know I had emotional bipolar or sexual, something like that, where I just be up and down when it comes to my hypersexual self. I'm an emotional person, which I know I'm a Pisces, very emotional. But it might mean learning how to feel your emotions instead of running from them. And I had to learn that. Y'all, it's not easy. It's not easy dealing with them. But you have to. In order to heal those roots, you have to deal with them emotions head on. Head on. And I did that. It was a lot of things that came my way that was meant to break me on my journey. But baby, I stayed strong. I stayed strong because I was determined to be a different me. I was determined not to keep repeating cycles. I knew that I had to get to the roots of my issues, my problems, in order to heal. I ain't trying to preach in here. Y'all God knows I ain't. I'm not. But we have to deal with them head on, even if we don't want to. That's how we heal. That's how we get through it day by day. Okay? When you face the root of your addictions, it loses power because you are no longer feeding it. Okay? No longer feeding that addiction because you have other ways in dealing with it instead of doing the same old stuff that you was doing that got you where? Nowhere. Except in the same place, trimming off those branches. Okay? Boy, so listen, I'm going to close this out with affirmation. And I want y'all to say it with me. Okay? I am not my addiction. I am brave enough to face my truth. I am worthy of healing at the deepest level. Can I say that one more time? I am not my addiction. I am brave enough to face my truth. I am worthy of healing at the deepest level. Yes, Lord. Woo! Y'all take that with y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me on this here journey. Not only does it help heal me, but I know it'll help heal someone else, or at least start your journey on healing. Okay? Remember that you are not your addiction. You are your comeback story. And you're going to come back stronger and better than ever. All right? Thank y'all. Have a good one.